I mean, there's so much about this team's construction that just looks ready to do damage, and I think they won't. And hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 35 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico Raspy. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
And we got a brand new season. We're ready to get going, itching to get going.
Oh, man, to say the least.
To say the least, we got season previews coming up today, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh, God, yeah. It's been a long summer.
It's felt so long. Whenever like that month, like I mean, once August comes around, you get football going, and I'm a big football guy, and Premier League kicks back up. But I mean, that month where it's just baseball, it's tough.
It sucks. I don't
It's
even
tough.
watch baseball. I'm not a baseball person at all.
I watched a bit this year. I mean, like, because there's nothing else on. But man, as soon as this stuff gets going, I'm done. I'm over it. I'll see baseball in June.
Yeah, I'm only there for the playoffs. I watch like 2 games in the finals. That's it. So
Yeah, fair enough.
I've been
After the 7th inning.
I've been glued. I've had Friege's tweet notifications turned on since draft day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the serotonin I get every day now, is just seeing who signed where.
Yeah, 100%. But for today,
Man,
it's just season previews. We're going to go through every team, every division, where they rank in the division, project some points out, and get an overall vibe.
yeah, see where they're sitting, see what they look like.
Let's start out in the Pacific.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with that.
Beautiful. Let's go. Let's do the Cali teams first, just because they're a little bit easier. How do we feel about San Jose?
Butts.
Yeah.
Absolute butts.
Yeah.
I will say I like some of the like acquisitions they've made.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie, acquiring Blackwood is a good start considering there's a big question mark over your starting role. He's a good kind of patchwork guy.
It's a chance
I mean-
at something. Yeah.
That's what I said about him at the end of last year too, is he'll probably sign somewhere that's rebuilding that needs a patchwork goalie that's just gonna give the kids a chance to contend.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you really have to just appreciate that for what it is. Don't
Right.
look a gift horse in the mouth too much. He's gonna keep less than 4 goals out of the net
Hopefully. Most
hopefully.
nights, yeah.
And you know, they have a pretty solid core still. They've kept it together. They have Hurdle and Couture, and
That's really
that's
it.
about it.
From
I mean,
the San Jose Sharks team that was good. I mean, like, Pavelski's doing great in Dallas still. Joe Thornton is long retired.
yeah,
Patrick Marleau is long gone. It's been a rough couple years there, and it's probably going to continue. I mean, they got some good pieces back, I think. Like, I mean, they're not A-level prospects, but like mid-tier prospects in the Meyer trade.
yep.
There's some things to look forward to there, but there's not a lot of things to watch.
No, and it really becomes like you become more of a fan of the minor league system at
Yeah.
a certain point. Like I
Yeah.
had to go through that as a Devils fan. I think I was checking in on Ty Smith more than I was the Devils. Like that tells you how bad it was for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do like San Jose because they did cash in on a couple lottery tickets, so to say, in the draft, where it's like boom or bust sort of stuff.
Totally.
Couple Russians here and there, you know.
Totally.
You can't hate it.
No.
When you're in a situation this bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Greer's pretty new in the seat. I'm not going to tear this team apart. He's really doing the best he can with what he's given. This is just a team in a really rough spot because they laid it all on the line and they didn't get it done. And they lost their window. This is what happens.
That's just it, right? I mean, it's really a shame that they didn't get their cup because they did everything they could.
And they did it right. Like
Yeah.
they were contending and they had really great players and a great team. It just never broke their way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of what you get, and if you're a Sharks fan, you just gotta hope Greer sticks to the plan and you get a real rebuild going here.
Yeah, and I think it really underlines, like, it's a great warning shot for a bunch of the GMs in current positions of power teams that are starting to fall off. Boston is a great example.
Yep.
I think Boston missed their warning shot because
Yep.
they're already starting to look like they're sinking into the same hole.
Yep.
But it's a great warning piece for any GM out there where you have to, even if you're going for the cup, you got to be taking inventory daily.
Yeah.
You have to look at your minors and go, what do we have and what are we going to have once the pipe dream's over?
Yeah, like you want to be conscious of it, right? But I also think at a certain point, like,
Well, like Tampa spending those 5 picks on Jeannot last year was dumb as shit.
I don't think so.
He's a great player, but he's never going to be a superstar. He's going to be an incredible top 6 if he can score the way he did in his rookie season and get away from having to be the enforcer all the time. But it looks like they acquired him to be more of an enforcer than a goal scorer.
But like the picks don't matter for Tampa. There's no escaping the cycle in the hard cap league. There's no escaping the up and down cycle. And what are you going to use that pick on right now? You're going to use that pick on a guy, all of those picks on guys that are probably going to break into the league, if any of them do, in 3 to 4 years when you should be sucking.
I mean, Tampa should start to stock the shelves now because they're going to be in for a really, really long rebuild. We can get there, though. We have Tampa in the cards still.
Yeah,
But that's going to be a really long rebuild if they don't start taking some pills and taking that hard medicine.
It's going to be either way, though. That's what happens when you win 3 cups or 2 cups and go to 3 finals.
Yeah, I think there's just something to be said about like taking the pill early and utilizing what leverage you have on some of the players and the capital you still have.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be mad if they start doing that this year. But like last year, they were still in go for it mode. They've been to 3 straight finals. What are you going to take a step back?
But no, exactly. But I also think that like if you're going to spend 5 picks in the position you're in, like Jeannot was not the guy that is going to garner those picks, in my personal opinion.
All right,
moving on.
Yeah, 60 points.
Yeah,
horrendous.
I got him at 72 modestly.
Yeah, I got him dead last. You got him second last. I mean, it's going to be a rush to the bottom with another California team we're about to bring up, the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, I got them at 64 points.
They're going to be, I actually think they're going to be improved, Anaheim. I think it's hard to look at a team that young and with that much potential and not see a little bit of glow up.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you look at how young Zegras is, McTavish, you're bringing in Leo Carlsson. You've got, I mean, Drysdale, we'll see what happens with him this year, but hopefully he can get going.
Oh, yeah. I think that they're going to have, actually, bad news out of training camp today. Carlsson went down and he had to be helped off the ice. He couldn't skate. He has an ankle injury, so hopefully he's healing well.
Yeah.
And it's not too long of an injury.
For sure.
You never want to see that in like what was his second overall pick or something?
Yeah, second overall.
Yeah, so like you never want to see that. That's horrifying. I'm sure the Ducks just got sick to their stomach.
Yeah.
It's been a bad day for them. But
for sure.
Nevertheless, they're going to go up. Like McTavish is due to break out.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, that McTavish takes Zegras' spot this year as 1C.
Yeah, I could see that.
And Zegras did sign a 3x3. He's in kind of a show improve type of year now.
Yeah, it's a show improve contract for sure.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're Anaheim and you want to utilize as much cap space as you have, seeing as you have so much right now, and you want to be stocking the shelves for the future, you should probably lock that guy up for longer.
Yeah.
Even if it turns out to be a bad contract in 4 years,
right?
Who cares?
Yeah, it's going to be another rough year there, but there's lots to watch if you're an Anaheim fan, right? You like seeing fun goals. Zegras is going to give you that. You like seeing people develop. You get to watch. Name one of their 5 prospects that's going to jump up this year. It's going to be a rough year. Hopefully someone plays defense like at least one time. That would be cool. If someone played some defense there, it'd probably make it a little more fun to watch. But I think they're going to get a little bit better. I still think they're in the basement of the league with about 64 points.
I agree entirely. I think that this team is going to get much better defensively. They didn't do much to their defensive core to change anything, but they changed the coach. And the coach is very defensively minded. And like the first day of training camp, he took Zegras' stick and threw it across the ice and made him train without one.
Yeah.
Like he's worried about positioning and he's worried about how you're moving your feet.
Yeah.
He does not give a shit what you can do with your stick handling right now.
Yeah.
And that's what the Ducks need.
Totally.
Because this team almost reminds me of Team Canada in the worst way possible, where they're like so sick and so confident that it's just like, well, let me just show you exactly what I can do every time I'm out here instead of what I should do every time I'm out here.
Yeah.
It's like we know you can do sick shit.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Make the play of the front of the net. I want to see a goal.
Yeah, totally. Because yeah, I mean they have to learn. They know how to score, but they got to learn how to win.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
you're not going to win with individual efforts. Every team that's ever won is by committee.
Absolutely.
It's just a fact of the matter.
You also got them at 64 points there. You got them. Yeah, that puts them at 8th for you. That puts them at 7th for me. I like that.
It's a disappointing season, but it'll be fun for Ducks fans.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking from someone who's watched, the Heischer and Hughes rise and the Bratt rise, it's fun. Even though you're losing, it's fun to go, oh, okay, but they scored.
Dude, the most fun, like Vancouver's god awful now, but like those guys, like Pettersson and Hughes' first years, so much fun.
It's kind of nice when your team gets scored on as a fan too, and you don't have to be really upset or disappointed in the outcome.
Yeah, totally.
You sit down to a game and you're just there for the highlight reels, and you're like, "Wow, that was cool. That was a great game."
It's a lot of fun. It's one of the best ways to watch sports when you don't care about the outcome.
Yeah, losing 5-2.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Prospect scored.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
All right, let's move on to one more team that's in California, Los Angeles Kings. How do we feel about them?
I feel pretty good about the Kings, man.
Yeah.
They got a really, really nice team now.
They're pretty nasty, man. I mean, the goaltending is obviously their big question mark. I really don't think it matters that much when you have a solid group like that, especially like a defensively solid group like the Kings. I mean, guys like Danault and Kopitar obviously are ridiculous at both ends of the ice. And I mean, you add in PLD, and this team's got some pretty crazy center depth pretty quickly.
Yeah, and not only center depth that can be very responsible, which is my favorite type of hockey player. I'm a very meat and potatoes person, as much as I shit on Canadians that love that.
Yeah.
Like, they're great players, and you're gonna be safe up and down, and you're gonna provide so much more room for all of your talented wingers.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way around it. LA is going to be a force to reckon with. Clark didn't make the team this year, but that won't even really matter. Like,
no.
And that tells you something when you have a guy that's like as ready as Clark is. Like, in any other team, they'd probably be playing him in a third line role this year.
Right.
But LA's in a place where they can go, nah.
Not yet.
We're going to give you another year because we have a good feeling about this year.
Yeah.
What I like about LA most is that they've grabbed people that fit their makeup, even if they aren't the potentially like the best option out there.
Right.
Like,
right.
There were other people to target besides PLD.
Yeah.
But they went for PLD.
Right.
Because he fits.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
It does. I mean, now like that third line, Trevor Moore, Philip Danault, and Victor Arvidsson, if those are the lines right now, but if that's what stays, like that line's going to be a problem for other teams.
100%. And Danault is like one of the best face-off specialists in the league. Like, he has done nothing but get better over the years. Like, I'd put him in the same category as Duchesne now, where it's like if I have a pressure-packed face-off, I'm throwing out the third.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might do it. I might just throw the third out for 30 seconds and then have him hop the boards for the first again.
Right. I got LA winning the Pacific, man.
Really?
111 points. That's what I'm taking. And I think they take the Pacific this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Yeah.
I don't know if I go that far. I do really like their team, but I think the goaltending, as much as it won't matter in the overall picture, I think it will matter in like the winning the division picture.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the other teams, but there aren't really any top-end contenders in the Pacific that don't have goalie questions.
Yeah, the Pacific is just one of those divisions where a lot of the teams have bad tasting goalies.
Yeah, except for Vancouver, baby.
You guys, I don't know what your problem is, though. Great segue. We'll just jump straight into Vancouver, but I don't know what your problem is because
you didn't
guys...
tell me. Wait. You didn't say where you got them.
LA. LA. I have them at third in the div.
99 points.
99 points. Okay. So they're going to be right in the mix. They're going to be threatening. They're going to be a problem for Edmonton, but I think that Edmonton's just going to edge out that divisional battle, and it's probably going to be the difference in the standings too.
Right.
I think that divisional play in the Pacific is going to matter so much more than any other division this year. It's actually insane. Yeah,
I mean, for me, I like the Atlantic is probably close because I mean that division's ridiculous as well. But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
What about Vancouver?
You guys cannot stop shooting yourself in the goddamn foot.
No.
Like, I've never seen a team blindly stumble into so many goaltending gifts in less than a decade and perpetually just fling them out the door like they never mattered.
I know it's so interesting what they do in Vancouver, man. I mean, they have good tasting goalies.
Fantastic taste.
There's no denying that. I mean, to trade for Roberto Luongo, and then trade Luongo for Jacob Markstrom, draft Thatcher Demko, and I mean now they've drafted Archie Seelovs. We don't know what's going to happen with him, but he's got a promising career ahead of him.
They found Schneider too, and I mean, like, that's an absolutely fantastic goalie until he had, his fall off. But like, you can't pin that on anything else other than mental illness, and that sucks.
Yeah, totally. And he just called it a career. So shout out to Corey Schneider, and it's tough way for him to end it, finishing in the AHL last year. But he had a strong career, truly.
Jumping into Vancouver though, I got you guys sitting 5th with 92 points. A little outside of the wild card, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if it makes you feel better, you're 1 point out of wild card behind Seattle.
Right. I got them 6th, 86 points. I think that this team's just too many things have to go right. Not all of them will. Can Kuzmenko repeat a ridiculous almost 40 goal, 22% shooting average season? Maybe. Can JT Miller be a true 2C? Maybe. Will Pettersson have 100 points? More likely. Will Quinn Hughes be amazing? Yes. Will Demko be healthy? Maybe. Will they get any scoring from anyone else? Maybe. Like, there's just too many things. I think we're gonna see 7 different teams this year with the Canucks. I think we're gonna see 2 weeks go by where they're lighting teams up and it looks like things are going good and they make the playoffs, and then you're gonna see weeks where they don't score a goal and things look tragic and there's a jersey on the ice again, and like it's just too much volatility. I think they're finishing at around 86 points, which is a respectable number. I just don't think they make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, you're incredibly right about everything has to go right for this team.
Yeah.
When you look at like the lineup, you have a bunch of guys that have been nothing but riddled by injuries or have a big question mark beside their name for the better part of their career. Even if it's a question mark that's more sure, you still have Kuzmenko who might repeat, but like, will he? I don't know.
22% he shot last year.
Will you get the performance you're looking for out of Höglander? I don't know.
You need a big step out of him.
My hopes are starting to dwindle on him, and I was high on Höglander for a while. Like, I thought he was going to be a second line guy.
I still think he will be. I still think he will be. I just don't know if he will be this year.
Right. Yeah, I'm wavering on that. I really don't think it'll be this year, and I think that the way things are progressing, it's looking less and less likely. The more that his usage keeps decreasing as well.
I think, yes, that's fair, but his usage is definitely going to increase this year under Rick Tocchet. Boudreau was not a fan of Nils Höglander. That's why he spent so much time in the A. He's going to get a lot more chances this year, I think, which he needs. That's the other thing with the Canucks is they've just refused to commit to seeing what they have in these rookies. You look at Pugh-Colson, that's a guy who's gone back down to the A. Nils Höglander, he's been up and down so far, and it's like you really got to get these guys on a line, set up, and just let them go for 10 games because like. Find out what you have. Don't have them constantly in the back of their mind. Oh my God, if I don't get this play right here, they're gonna send me back to Abbotsford. Yeah. Find out what you got.
It's also, it's not conducive to success to have your youngest players playing tense.
Yeah, as much as sure, the Canucks have a 1C, like a real 1C, a real 1D, and a real starting goalie. Like they still have a top end talent issue.
Yep. And the issue is that a lot of their top-end talent that should be top-end talent right now either had a huge injury, Brock Besser.
Yeah.
Could easily be way better than he was if he didn't have those setbacks. Connor Garland, he was, when you guys traded for him, supposed to be much bigger than he is. Right now he's sitting as a third-line winger. It's not really what you want out of that contract.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these players aren't living up to their usage when they were brought in.
Well, and I mean, you have a guy like Phil DiGiuseppe in your top 6.
What a name!
Like this guy, his career high in points is 18, and it was in 2015. You know what that is? Almost a decade ago.
Excuse me.
That's his career high, 18 points, a decade ago almost. And this guy's in your top 6. That's a massive, massive problem. And I like his game, but that's a problem. That's not playoff teams don't have that.
And I mean, let's not act like you don't have Ian Cole on your third defensive pairing.
I have no problem with Ian Cole on a third pairing role at $1 million.
I like Ian Cole.
Yeah,
because he's a great grinder.
Sure.
But that's all he is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
In my eyes, he's really just like the Ryan Reeves of defense. Like, he's just going to bounce around team to team and supposed to be punching people in the face, but he never seems to either, which also bugs the hell out of me. Like, how are you so big and so useless with the puck, but also won't throw your hands?
Yeah, he hits, though. He's physical.
Oh, he does hit, but like I've also seen like a number of his teammates get blown up right in front of him, and he just
for
like
nothing.
He just like does the Tyler Myers thing and skates away, and it's like you do know that that's your job right now.
Yeah,
that's you.
The Canucks, though, like, they have depth. Like, third pairing, doesn't concern me at all. Ian Cole, I don't care. Cole McWard, Noah Juleson, Jack Rathbone. I don't care. Throw someone in there. They're not going to play a ton of minutes. I'm way more concerned about playing Cole McWard with Quinn Hughes or Tyler Myers with Quinn Hughes. Like, who's playing the big minutes? That concerns me a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, you aren't like the Leafs last year playing a 40-year-old at 20 minutes a game.
Yeah,
but you're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do the opposite. Instead of a 40-year-old 20 minutes a game, we're gonna play the 20-year-old 40 minutes a game. Quinn's gonna be out there the entire game.
Just EA franchise. Yeah. Put him on every line.
Yeah, for real, dude. Yeah, we should move on from the Canucks, but
it's rough.
It's gonna be up and down, I think, for a lot of this year for that team.
Yeah, fair enough.
Should we stay in Canada though?
Yeah, I thought we would just springboard a little to the right.
Yeah, okay. Let's go over to Calgary. This is an interesting one.
That is an interesting one, actually.
Coming off a really, really rough year. I mean, there's just been so much turmoil in Calgary that's obviously been well documented. Yeah, the finally coming to a bit of a point where Sutter, GM, one's got to go, both go.
Yeah,
they lose their number one goal scorer from last year. Ouch.
It's the definition of like implosion, and in the worst way, because like that, we've seen teams implode from a coaching level, from a player level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever seen a team implode from a managerial level quite like this.
Just from both. Yeah,
complete lack of structure.
Totally,
on both ends. No one knows what they're doing, and in the end, everyone leaves. Mass exodus. Mass
exodus. I mean, within 2 years, you've lost Tkachuk, Gaudreau, and Tyler Toffoli. That's not what you like to see.
I'm pretty young. I don't have all my hockey history brushed up. I'm no Jeff Merrick by any means.
Sure.
But I can't recall an offseason where a team called in every player personally to speak about the coach.
Right.
And it led to him being canned so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's so crazy.
Besides Michael Grabcock. Oh, I mean Babcock. I mean, check out your wife's tits when you're not looking. I mean, what?
Yeah, you know what? Though I'm gonna be honest. I think this team's better this year.
I think so too. I 100% have to agree.
The loss of Sutter is a way bigger impact than losing Toffoli. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I was gonna say the swing back from losing Sutter is probably gonna be such a refreshing mood.
Yeah.
For most of these guys.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that guys that suck at hockey but want to play hockey really bad will always play better than the guys that are really good but don't want to be there.
Right. 100%.
Like, as someone who manages even a small level ball hockey team, I can tell you some of my middle six forwards that love just being there every day and get there an hour early. They always do better than the guys that show up 5 minutes before and are phoning it in and, you know.
But are sick.
They're super sick. They undress guys left, right, and center and go Bardizzi, but like.
Not helpful.
It's not helpful half the time because you don't give a shit and you're not back checking. So we lost, like, you know?
Not to mention, I mean, people forget 2 years ago, Jonathan Huberdeau, well over 100 points.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's not playing with Barkov, but Lindholm's not bad. That was the biggest point production fall off in NHL history. I think it's damn near impossible that he doesn't have at least a bit of a bounce back.
Yeah. Oh, I think Lindholm is a certified 1C. Like, let's not get that crossed up.
Yeah. No,
like,
no.
He needs,
I do too. He's not Barkov, but he's a 1C.
Yeah. He needs more respect on his name. He is for sure not anything I would scoff at as a first line. He is very, very responsible. But what I found was really interesting was the quote that came out today.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw it. Huberdeau went on record as saying that last year was the first year in his NHL, in his whole playing career, that he went to the arena with no passion.
Right.
He lost all passion for the game playing for that man.
It's the Sutter effect, baby.
That's insane.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back in a big way, honestly.
I think so. I have them finishing just outside of the playoff picture, but they're going to be in it right till the end. I have them at 91 points. That's good for, what, fifth in the Pacific?
Yeah, about that. I got him sitting 6th at 76 points. I'm a little disrespectful on that one, but I mean, like, I'll be honest, a lot of this team is players I don't like or have grown a distaste for in the last few years, either from their playing style or just their performance in general.
Right.
You got Blake Coleman eating up $5 million on the fourth line.
Yeah.
You got Sharon Govich, who couldn't crack a Devils roster last year.
I think Sharon Govich will have a good year.
He better, because he's very, very quickly becoming the next Puljujarvi.
That's a reach.
He may not be quite as hyped as Puljujarvi, but this man's teetering on the edge of obscurity.
No.
Mark my words. If he doesn't have a big year this year, he's gonna not be in the league probably in 2.
Okay.
Like his performance has been lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't show up enough, and more often than not, it's a compete level issue, not a raw skill issue.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's head over to the other Birda team, Edmonton. Edmonton, they're a team that really is got to be in all-in mode right now. They only got a couple years left with McDavid and Draisaitl at the contracts they're at. They're going to be getting massive raises if the cap goes up. Even if the cap doesn't go up, they're getting raises. There's just no two ways about it. It was disappointing last year after going to the third round the year before that they didn't really make that push into the finals. They probably, like, I'd wager that they would have won if they got by Vegas. There wasn't a single team that gave Vegas as much trouble as Edmonton.
Yep.
They were the closest to it. But it's kind of a scary looking roster still.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's not a player in here that I would look at and be like, you should move them and bring something else in. Like, Warren Foegele is a second liner on most NHL teams.
Yeah.
Lane Pedersen is a third liner on most NHL teams. Derek Ryan, same thing. Like, he might even be a second liner on somewhere like Arizona. Like,
yeah.
Like, a lot of these guys are really talented guys that just make excellent depth. Ryan McLeod has excelled as a center lately.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really knock this team. Even Holloway. I did not respect Holloway's game at all. And my tune had changed entirely.
They just need to get some reliable play when the big dogs aren't on the ice. That's really what it comes down to. They need to just not, as much as like individually, some of these players, I have no problem with them. It just seems like so often you see McDavid and Draisaitl sitting on the bench watching the Oilers getting caved in. You got to hope for a big year out of one of the goalies, because the right side of the decor scares me. Nurse also scares me, especially at his number, but you got to hope he has a big year.
Absolutely, at that number.
Ekholm probably will have a good year.
Yeah.
And I have no problems with Kulak, but I mean, when you got CC, Bouchard, and Desharnais down the middle, or down the other side, that does concern me.
That is a concern. I don't think that Cody Ceci is a first liner anymore.
Yeah.
Or ever really was. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Evan Bouchard is a third pairing guy. Desharnais is also a third pairing guy.
Yeah.
Like, you have so much depth on one side and then not enough on the other.
Totally.
And yeah, it's really going to come down to consistent play, but I don't think it's going to come from consistent play on their bottom six. I think that their forward group is as tight as they could possibly hope.
Right.
It's going to, like, and this is a team I always criticize for terrible tasting goalies.
Yeah.
Shout out Vancouver, great tasting goalies.
Thank
Edmonton,
you.
Not so much.
No.
If you've had Mike Smith on your team, you got bad tasting goalies. It's terrible taste. And you did it by choice. It wasn't even like there was better goalies on the market that year, for sure.
Yeah, they really like they don't need a superstar goalie. They don't need a Shesterkin as much as obviously anyone would love Shesterkin. They just need reliable goaltending. They need to not get killed by it.
Yeah,
is really what it comes down to.
Well, yeah, the biggest thing about these goalies is that like they still have so much like fog around their value.
Yeah, totally.
Like, sure, they're really great when they're locked in, but in some of those high pressure scenarios, like some of the goals that took Edmonton out of that playoff series with Vegas, they were fluttery.
Yeah,
they made like if I was playing, I would have been sick. I would have been upset about that shit.
Skinner, he's so young that I can't really fault him too much for it, and you hope he takes another step this year. Campbell, though, I mean, that's a negative value asset for you already.
Yeah,
he's getting paid too much, and he has not. He's been awful his whole time there. Like that's not an asset that's worth anything to you.
No, and this is like just stumbling around without a plan, thinking you found something, reacting too quickly, and then stumbling onto something else the exact same way, and not even doing any critical thinking. Right. And now you're paying two guys basically the same amount of money to do the same job that only one of them is doing.
Right.
It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work in today's NHL when you have to have a goalie pairing. You need to have that young guy that's trying to make it in on an ELC.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And you need to have a vet.
Right. I agree.
Just how it works.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like Minnesota is going to do great this year with Fleury and Gustafsson.
Yes.
There's no way around it. Like they
probably
like Gustafsson is like,
we'll see.
I think he's going to take the step. I think so.
But, yeah.
Like, it's just
we'll get there.
Take a look at Vegas. Like they had 3 great goalies. 4.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were ready to crack in. The issue with that is that you're going to lose your goalies like almost immediately after your cup run.
Yeah, whatever.
But again, whatever.
If you get that cup, nothing else matters.
Nope. Not a single thing in the world. So
yeah, I agree.
If Skinner can produce a consistent season and just not even like stop more pucks,
right?
Just stop less bad goals. Like just be more safe.
Yeah,
that's all they need.
With all of that said, I think this team, with McDavid coming off such a ridiculous year, I think the 156 points, I think that's going to be his cap, which is, famous last words. But I do kind of think it reminds me of Crosby's season when he was like, I want to score this season. And he scored 50.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what McDavid did last year. And I think he's going to ease up a little bit through the regular season, maybe play a little bit more two-way, and just become an actual force even more than he is. They went to the third round 2 years ago. They only go to the second last year. I think they're going to be dominant in the regular season this year.
Oh, for sure.
I have them winning the Pacific. Or no, that's a lie. I have them 2 points out of winning the Pacific at 109 points.
Yeah, I got them at 103. It's 4 above LA and 5 behind Vegas, effectively. So
second.
Yeah, they're sitting second, and it's not close either.
Yeah. Bridging into that, I guess we should go to Vegas then.
Yeah, let's dive right in.
Yeah, little Stanley Cup hangover potentially, but I don't know. With a team this good that lost that little, I mean, they're gonna be nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you want to kind of find holes in Vegas's game, but you just can't.
No, dude. No. I mean, their D group is so incredibly stacked that like I don't I saw on Twitter someone was saying that like pretty much all 31 other teams are waiting for their waivers because there's guaranteed to be good players on it. That's how stacked they are. You have like Haig and Whitecloud on your third pairing. It's like, bro, either of those guys would be on the Canucks top pair.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No question. With no question. I mean, your only real loss is Riley.
But like, I guess. But is it even really a loss? Like they supplement themselves so well, and they have so much in the barrel already.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the next up, but it actually works. Like this is a system where the next man up is arguably going to be just as good or better. Like,
and as much as, for the last 3 years, how much have we on this team for being so ruthless in that regard, right?
Oh, 100%.
for being just so next man up and just not caring about the assets and sending them off. But I mean, it seems to have, cultivated this culture of, okay, well, this guy's gone. He was a top end guy. You can take his spot now.
Yeah, are you going to be the next top end guy?
And they seem to be.
Yeah, Vegas is the WWE of the NHL.
It's so fitting for a team in the desert like that. I mean, and Jack Eichel, I think, is going to have a massive regular season. It's been a few years since we've seen a big regular season from Jack Eichel. I think that's coming this year.
Yeah, I mean, if he has Barbashev beside him,
yeah,
like Marchessault stepped up again. He's not decreasing.
Yeah,
he's doing good. The biggest question for this team will be if Mark Stone will be healthy all season.
Yeah, that's a big question for them.
The thing that makes me so sick about Vegas, though, is like, where do you find these players? Like, where do they come from?
I know.
And what are you doing in your farm system to make them so good when they get here?
They're so aggressive with their acquisitions, and yeah, I don't know what the hell they're feeding them on the farm team down there, but it's working.
Like, so many of these guys are guys that I was not looking for.
Yeah,
but now you would have to.
Right.
Like
right.
Brett Howden.
Sure.
Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah, Stevenson.
So Will Carrier.
Yeah.
Will Carrier could be on the second line of like half of these teams too.
100%.
Again, like this is a team where like you could go through everything and be like, most of these guys are at least a line above where they're playing.
Right. Right.
Like, it's pretty nuts.
It's like they remind me of Seattle, except they have like real game breakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whereas Seattle has like 4 second lines, this team has like 2 firsts and then 2 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. I have them, getting a little bit of a Stanley Cup hangover. I don't think they're going to be flying the entire season. There'll be some times where they're given 70% and things like that, 60% maybe.
Oh yeah.
So I got them third in the Pacific. I think I have them about 103 points. Want to check on that?
Yeah, definitely.
I got them out 104 points. Third safely in a playoff spot. I think they'll have no problem walking there, but I think LA and Edmonton are just gonna go a little bit harder in the regular.
Yeah, I think that those are teams that are gonna have to gun harder,
yeah.
So it's not gonna be shocking. I think that the separation in skill and like just all around quality is really going to show itself anyways.
Right.
Like, I think that Vegas, what they have in the extra defense, what they have in the extra goaltending,
yeah,
it's just going to show right through Edmonton, and that's going to create that 5-point spread. So I got Vegas winning the first and Edmonton trailing close. They're going to be someone we talk about all year. Yeah. I think McDavid will break 160, just for what it's worth. I'm putting
Fair
McDavid
enough.
at 161.
Okay.
And I don't know. My only thing about Vegas that I was kind of looking at that worries me is that a lot of these guys, as great as they are on the defense, like, I have nothing but respect for this entire D line.
Yeah.
Through and through. But they are getting old. They're getting a little bit older, and for hockey standards, no, not really. There's going to be a lot of people that are like, what do you mean? They're not that old.
Yeah, no, they're not that old,
but when you're that big and getting to this age,
time hits you quicker.
It hits way quicker.
Yeah, so that's very fair.
Like, take a look at some of the guys. Like, look how Jumbo Joe was moving.
Yeah, he was moving pretty slow at the end there.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, he was 40, but like, even then, like the bigger guys, like the McNabbs, the Martinez, Theodore, like, they're gonna slow down, and it's just gonna hit them in the knees faster than anyone else will.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to contend at the caliber they are without seeing that drop off and having it fall on their goalies.
All right, let's move on to Seattle. One more in the Pacific here.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
They are going to be interesting. We both have them in wildcard spots. I got them at 94 points. You got them at 93. I mean, they're a team that just plays the right way. We just talked about them having 4 second lines has been kind of the mantra about them. There is some question marks for sure. Like, can a guy like Eberle repeat the season he just had? Can Jared McCann repeat the season he just had? But then, like, Beniers, hopefully you can get another step out of him.
I think you can.
I think you can too. Yeah.
I think right now this guy has endless gears.
Yeah. It sure seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say that's his ceiling until he declines 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
There's just, you can't. Same with McCann. McCann is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, he's a 40-goal guy. He's outrageous.
Yeah, and that's again another guy I didn't expect to have that kind of like a season.
It's another guy the Canucks gave up on too early.
Ow.
Yeah, shipped him to Pittsburgh for Brandon Sutter.
Oh no.
Yes. Anyways,
hindsight is 2020.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, they're solid all the way up and down. I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that was a question. I thought you were just bridging.
No.
Yeah, no, I would have to
just
agree.
The look you gave me was like you disagreed. So
no, sorry, I was just double checking exactly who the hell they had on their team. I was like, they didn't have a turnover, did they? No, in fact, they acquired Tolvanen last year from Nashville off waivers too, which is like an insane pickup.
Pretty much the same way they got Bjorkstrand.
Yep.
Their D group is fine. I mean, there's nothing eye-popping about it, but at the same time, it's just solid all the way through, I'd say. I don't think there's really any major concerns for me. I have no problem with Alexiak in a third pairing role. Dunn, Dumoulin, Larson, Schultz, and Borgen. I like all of those players. I have no problem with that.
I don't like Adam Larson. No. I didn't like Adam Larson when he was on the Devils. I did a little victory dance when we traded him 1-for-1 for Hall.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm not big on big defenders anymore. I'm really big on like mid-sized defenders that are scrappy.
Okay.
Aside from that though, like I love Justin Schultz. Dumoulin awesome. Dunn's great.
Yep.
Alexiak is a fantastic third pairing person. Like he's gonna lay down the body day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically just another version of Tanev. It's Walmart Tanev.
Mm-hmm.
And Borgen, probably there's someone you could replace for War. Like but that comes with time.
Right.
That's not a big issue. I definitely see this team making wildcard 2. I have them sitting at around
93.
93. You got them at 94. So we're like right in the same ballpark there. We're splitting hairs.
I like it.
Yeah. And who do they have for goalies again?
Grubauer.
You think he's going to do any better? You think he's going to like hit a cliff?
I don't think either. I think he's serviceable. Like I have just no. I don't really think that Grubauer is the best goalie on earth. Again, I also kind of think goalies are disposable these days. So like as long as he's not awful, they're fine.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think he will be. Like I don't think he's an awful goalie. I don't think he was the worth the price tag they gave him. But as long as he's just fine, they're fine.
I think he's gonna kind of fall off a cliff this year. That's gonna be my like question mark. I think that this forward group is actually gonna play over their head, but they're gonna get dragged down by the goaltending.
Sure.
I'm gonna put another hot spot prediction out there and say that Grubauer has 3.29 goals against average every game.
Sure.
Like for the season. We're gonna call that his GAA.
Okay, so moving on, we're going into the Central Division now. Gonna be some interesting matchups in here. I think this is probably the weakest division in the league, but still some really strong teams, and we'll start out with Colorado.
Banger of a team.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna trifle with this one. They're first.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
108 points.
I got them first as well. I got them at 111 points, matching the LA Kings. I think they're gonna have a big year. I mean, there's obviously question marks around health with some of the big guys. You know, Landeskog, there's still question marks, obviously. Their depth is a little bit concerning, but some people would say goaltending. Again, I don't really care that much. I think as long as they get somewhat competent goaltending, they'll be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as Francouz like recovers at some point over the next season,
sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's fine. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not going to mark up their season the way that Vasilevsky missing from Tampa is.
Totally. I think that, like, this team coming off a disappointing campaign that ended in a loss to an expansion team, ouch, they're going to be ready to fight this year. And, I mean, you look at the top-end talent. You look at Nathan McKinnon. You look at Rantanen. You look at Makar and Devon Toews up front. This team could walk into the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think that, honestly, losing in the way they did last year was a really great, sobering wake-up call for this team, who was very much riding high on their own cape, and they don't have any reason not to.
Right.
But you do need to get dragged down to earth every now and then and have a reason to reinforce what coach is saying, which is back to basics.
Yeah. I mean, their forward group is littered with talent, obviously. I mean, Lehkonen and Nichushkin.
I mean, I really like Lehkonen. I think Lekkonen's going to make a big step this year.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be the first time he's really been given a true crack at a first-line role, and I think he's going to embrace it really well. He's done nothing but embrace his roles with this team so far.
Yeah.
I think Miles Wood is a fantastic addition.
That's the guy.
That's my guy. Miles
of Wood.
You got to love it.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a hard-nosed forechecker. He has nothing but speed. He only scores on the breakaway, but I mean, like, what else do you need? Like, he's going to get in your face. He's going to make you make a bad pass, and you're going to have Tatar there with him. So, I mean, like, you got a pretty solid third as well. Like,
yeah, totally.
Do I love the contract he got? No, I'm glad New Jersey didn't sign it, but good for him. I'm glad he got paid. This is another one of those guys where it's like, pay him. He deserves to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have too much else to say about this team, honestly. I think they're going to walk into the playoffs, and I think they're going to run a little bit to win in that division.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very quick run for their division.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably have the split that we need come Christmas break to go, this was never a question.
I could probably say it by American Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it'll probably be a big enough spread already. We're probably looking at 10 to 12.
Yeah.
And getting larger as it goes.
Right.
Like, this is a nasty team.
Nasty team.
The only thing that's going to allow everyone else to catch up is the fact they're going to take it easy as hell for the last 15.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. By game 60, they're not going to care anymore.
No, they're going to be so far in. Like, I dare to say this is President's Trophy again.
I don't have them there, but they're going to be right up top.
I think I have them losing to Toronto in this spread I did.
For the President's Trophy?
Yeah, but it's like
you got
2
Vegas
points
above them too.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it's all really close. We're splitting hairs. We're going 110, 109, 108. So
totally.
Like, whatever.
Next up, let's go. Let's go to Minnesota.
Yeah, you know what? I like Minnesota. I think that
feeling good about the Wild.
I think they're ready to make a push.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team that's been riddled with bad luck from their cap and previous bad decisions.
Which they still are going to feel the effects of this year.
Oh, for sure. But they've done a really good job of maneuvering around it and taking the risks that they can and maintaining the pieces that they absolutely feel are essential.
Mm-hmm.
They shelled out for Foligno.
Yeah.
They made it happen at 4-4.
Yeah.
It's a very fair move.
Nothing wrong with that.
They got Johansson,
Yep.
which is like, he's old, but like,
Sure.
he can still shoot.
Yeah.
It's a good applicable winger.
They brought in your boy.
Pat Maroon. I was like, none of my boys are on here. What are we talking about?
Pat Maroon.
He's already producing for him. So, I mean, like, he looked good in the
Sure.
preseason. He's Pat Maroon. He's been around. It's a veteran presence, and you need that with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Zuccarello's going to be good again. He's always consistent. Like,
Kirill.
yeah, I think that they got rid of a lot of their pieces that were underperforming that they were waiting on. They finally took inventory and said, yeah, you know what? Let's re-examine where we're going with it.
Yeah.
I think that they have some real issues coming down on defense.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be rough.
Yeah, especially with Spurgeon not playing right now, yeah.
Yeah, but with that being said as well, I think that Fleury and Gustafsson are going to be a really, really solid tandem combo this year.
Gotta hope so.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I've seen already, Fleury's like playing pretty good hockey. And if at that, he's playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I don't know what his issue is this year. I don't know who pissed in his coffee. But did you see him trip Bedard and Taylor Hall in the shootout last night?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's a little bit upset about being counted out as a starter there, and I mean, I can't blame him. He's getting up there. He's a little long on the tooth, but I mean, we're talking about a Hall of Fame goaltender here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've just never seen a Hall of Fame goaltender take out someone in a shootout in preseason.
Yeah, in preseason, yeah. I mean, Bedard, he was trying to get pretty fancy on him. I think Fleury just gave him a little bit of a welcome to the show moment.
Yeah, a little message, a little humbling. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like Goligoski. He's old.
Yeah.
He should have retired in Arizona, where all old toys go to die when no one wants to play with them anymore.
Toys, yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think this team's gonna make it to the playoffs, no problem. They tend to get in. I don't know. They're just one of those teams. Like they're kind of like St. Louis. They're kind of like I don't know. St. Louis is probably the closest comparison, where they never really rebuild. They never really take a step back. They have all this talent. Like they'll be fine. I don't think like they don't scare me at all to do any damage in the playoffs, but I think they'll get in.
Oh yeah, but I think that just speaks to like how hard they play and like the system they've played for so long. Like this is a team that doesn't cut corners.
Right.
They're gonna play 60 minutes of the ugliest, grittiest hockey possible
Yeah.
to make anything happen to go their way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is what it is, but it doesn't hold up in the playoffs because they don't have any real game breakers besides Krill. And
Right.
that's just the unfortunate reality of probably their next 5 years until they get rid of that Suter and Parise debacle. Like you're still paying off those contracts and it's not looking better for a while.
Right. Yeah, we both got him second in the Central. I got him at 104 points. You got him at 99. I think that's, pretty fair. I mean, the hot take there obviously is that I have him above Dallas, but we'll get to. We should actually. Why don't we get to Dallas?
Yeah, let's just spiral straight into that.
Spiral right in because you have them tied.
I do actually.
99 points for each of them. Dallas. I mean, this is a team that seems to have it all in some regards, right? I mean, they've got their mix of young, new, fresh talent. I mean, Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, those guys, they're not like super green anymore, but they're the future of this team. You still have Jamie Benn. You still have Joe Pavelski. You have those guys still producing for you, which is frankly a miracle.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
I mean, you have your big defenseman and Miro Heiskanen. You have Ryan Suter as well.
Yeah.
And then you have your goalie in Ottinger. I mean, there's so much about this team's construction that just looks ready to do damage, and I think they won't. Let me. That's
okay. Continue.
I know that's the worst way to lead into my take, but I don't know, man. I look at the old guys we talked about, Jamie Benn. I find it very difficult to see him repeating the season he had last year, and the same goes for Sagan and especially Pavelski going into his age 39 season. Hey, man, very few players have defied time the way he has to this point. To be completely fair. But I just think it's gonna come at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if the clock's already ticking on Phil Kessel, if he's having a hard time finding a team, like it's a really good thing that Pavelski's worked himself into this locker room as such an essential piece to the spirit of the team.
Right.
Like, because like regardless of like time, the fact that Joe Pavelski is in this league is nothing short of just his hard work and dedication. He's the first one on the ice and the first one off. He spends
100%.
I think someone say spends like an hour at minimum tipping pucks every day in practice. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like that's dedication.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he stays scoring, and it's not because he's fast enough to turn the play anymore.
Right.
That's why most teams will stay away from him if this relationship was to ever sour.
For sure.
He doesn't have that X factor to break the ice anymore, to get space. But if you have space to give him, he'll make the most of it.
For sure.
So it's kind of a tough marriage that they have going on right now because something's going to have to give eventually.
Yeah, it always does.
I'm just hoping that he is able to retire gracefully instead of trying to continue pushing.
Right. And I mean, that's without me even mentioning, Wyatt Johnson, Duchesne, Marchment, Dadonov. Like, they got some really good pieces here. I do think, though, like, I expect Jason Robertson has a bit of a down year, and that's not a knock on the guy. I think he is a 40-goal scorer. The problem is that most 40-goal scorers have up and down years, right?
Yes.
Pretty much anyone not named Alex Ovechkin has up and down years when they're goal scorers. So I'd expect Robertson has a bit of a regression just for this season. Rupe Hintz, I think, had a phenomenal season. I think he might also be at a kind of his ceiling. Could be proven wrong there, but it's just my feeling is I think they get to the playoffs. I have them in the second wildcard spot. You have them tied for second, but I think it's going to be a little bit of tough sledding for them this year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I just don't think that this team is going to win until they get rid of Jamie Benn. I think he's cursed, and I think that he's a bad leader. He's not what you need in the locker room. He never has been.
I mean, man, watching that last playoff series where the only games they won were the games he was suspended for.
Like, I'm not crazy over here.
It's pretty damning evidence.
When Jamie Benn was performing well,
Yeah,
and he was on the first line,
yeah.
do you know who he went out of his way to fight with every single game they played? Miles Wood. Miles Wood is on the fourth line. He is the least of your concerns. You
Leave him alone.
Why are you fighting him every game? That's 5 minutes you're not scoring.
Yeah, Jamie Benn's a clown.
Jamie Benn, for lack of phrasing it poorly, is lacking maturity in a way that I've never seen for a player of his age.
Right.
And in a way that, like, you wouldn't originally identify it as lacking maturity.
But as he gets older, it becomes more apparent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, the older he gets, the more you're just like, Like, yeah. you never learned enough. Like, you never stepped outside of yourself to actually be a student.
Right.
And just kind of went with it.
Yeah, that's very fair. I also think it worries me, their usage of Oettinger. It reminds me a little bit of Thatcher Demko, where I think both of those guys have the capability to really take over and dominate a playoff run. Like, I think if you go into the playoffs and Thatcher Demko's hot, you can ride him to the finals. I also think the exact same about Oettinger. If you can get into the playoffs and Ottinger's hot and healthy, he can ride you to the finals as well. The problem is that they ride this guy 65 games a year, and so he's playing game 80 by the time he gets through the playoffs, and he's done. It's not, you can't have that.
No.
And I think that like, you pretty much can't have that for any goalie that's not named Vasilevsky or Shesterkin.
Exactly.
So as much as I have a lot of faith in Jake Oettinger as a goalie and in Dallas, I think it's going to burn them because they're going to play him way too much. I think coaches need to be more disciplined about their usage of goalies. I know that it's really tough in the regular season when you have a good goalie that good and a backup that's not as good. You want to play him so much, but like, you can never ask a goalie how he's feeling because he will always say he's ready to play.
Yeah.
You have to be the one to draw that line in the sand and say, okay, yeah, sure. I know you're playing great. Everything's good, but we're playing Arizona tonight. You're going to sit out for a couple days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, you need to have that maturity, especially when you have, like, and not to shit on their defense, because their defense is pretty all right.
It's all right, yeah.
But only 3 of the 6 are really people I'd keep around. Like, I don't really feel like Thomas Harley's to be relied on. Nils Lundqvist, who?
Sure.
And like, Issa Lindell is, I like Lindell, but
I like Lindell too.
I wouldn't call him reliable enough to like stick a goalie out there for 60. Like, I wouldn't call him reliable enough to have a split tandem out there and be sticking a backup in front of him every third game or fourth game.
Right.
Like, it just concerns me a little too much.
Yeah, that's very fair.
And I'm not saying that like this defensive core is terrible. In fact, there's a lot of really great things here, but Hankapää had an off year 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And he's still declining. He's 31.
Sure.
Heiskanen, Suter, like, Suter's still being bought out of his last deal.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's still paying him.
And I mean, like, there's a reason he's bought out of that last deal.
Yeah.
It's because it was a bad deal and he wasn't worth it. So like, I have a hard time believing that he's a first line caliber defensive player right now. Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think that he's. I actually like riding Suter up there. Again, it's weird. I'm making lots of Canucks comparisons right now, but I think that's a guy it's kind of like Quinn Hughes. You know, when you put him beside Heiskanen, where you don't need him to be all that. You just need him to be reliable defensively.
Yeah,
and I think he is that.
He is. The great thing about Ryan Suter is that he's mature.
Yeah,
like, he's a very mature player, and he knows when to retreat. Like, he'll never make a bad pinch.
Yeah,
which is great. But like, that's the best thing I have to say about his game, which worries me out of a first liner.
Very fair. That's very fair.
When you put him next to Heiskanen, I get it. Because like the Quinn Hughes comparison, that definitely makes it, that's a better sell for me.
Right.
But it's still one of those things where like, if I'm like contending the way Dallas says they're going to be contending,
I
don't buy it.
And that's totally fair because like, yeah, sure, maybe maybe we're making that comparison and he can be the Luke Shen to Miro Heiskanen, but wouldn't you rather have the Devon Toews to Makar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get that for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I see a bit of a regression happening here, and I think this is really their last shot for a couple of years, because they're as much as, you know, Seguin and Pavelski and Jamie Benn are old, and I think they're going to fall off. If they do fall off, you need to replace them.
Oh, 100%. But do they have anything? Have they done any work to replace them yet? Have they
They don't have replacements for those three guys right now.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. Yeah,
they're going to be doomed for a while.
So I mean, you have I mean, you bridged Robertson because you're absolute buffoons. But I mean, you have these guys that are young. You're gonna have a lot of time with them, so you'll probably get another kick at the can in time. Again, also with Oettinger and Heiskanen, but this is it looks like it's gonna be one of their last runs for the immediate future.
Yeah, and I mean that's banking on if Robertson even re-signs with them.
Yeah,
like he's free of his RFA status once he gets over this bridge, right? This is a second deal.
I think he's still an RFA when this deal's done.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
okay.
It's his second deal, but he's still RFA at the end of it.
Okay, it was short enough to actually break.
Yeah, same as Pettersson's, but
smart.
Even then, we're in a new world, right? As much as when Matthew Tkachuk was an RFA and decided he wasn't going to sign, a lot of people thought that wasn't anything except a guy wanting to get out of Calgary, right? Well, maybe there's not a trend here. It's just one guy that decides to do that. But now you look around the league, you look at Pierre-Luc Dubois, you look at Alex DeBrincat, and I mean, now we have some other guys coming up like Elias Pettersson. This very quickly could turn into a trend in the league of players finishing those bridge deals and saying, nah, I'm good. Where do you want to go next in the Central?
You know, let's do Winnipeg. Let's do a Canadian one.
It's an interesting team.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that always seems to find a way to get into the playoffs. They've lost Wheeler, which, depending on who you ask, could be a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's a great thing. I think Blake Wheeler's nothing short of locker room cancer, and I'm so happy to hear that he's in a locker room like New York, which is so developed and strong already.
Yeah.
Like, this was a team that like Kreider punched someone in the face for being racist, and everyone was like, yeah, punch him again. Like, that's a well-knit team.
Yeah.
That's a good group of boys I want to be around. Like, so I think that it'll be actually, you might get one of the best performances out of Wheeler that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just because he'll be able to get out of his own way, because he won't be getting in everyone else's way.
Right. And I mean, like, he's on a much different deal, right? He's on basically league minimum.
Yeah.
That can be a bit freeing for players sometimes, right? Sometimes you have this big contract in your hands and you're going, okay, well, now I got to be this every night, you know?
The pressure isn't always good for people. Like, some people just aren't built for that, you know?
And there's different kinds of pressure, right? And some work for some people, some don't. And as much as you lose Wheeler and you lose PLD, right? Those are two absolutely killer blows. I mean, Wheeler, maybe not so much, but PLD, absolutely. Your center depth takes a huge hit in that department, but then you look at what they got back, and guys like Yafalo and Viardi are going to be, I mean, they have Yafalo listed as a third liner here. I think he'll probably play in the top six.
I think so too. I mean, like, right now, like, the depth, it is what it is, but like, he's a flexible winger. He can go to the right. It's not an issue.
I mean, I know wingers are not the premier position like centers and defensemen are, but I mean, their wing depth is kind of crazy, man. Kyle Connor, Ehlers, Yafalo. I will always call him Yafalo, by the way. I know that's not his name.
Why Niederreiter,
Appleton, Viardi. I don't know. It just sounds better.
Iafallo.
Yeah.
Where he goes, Iafallo.
I just like Yafalo.
Fair. I mean, like, this will really kind of be one of those seasons that has to go right, unfortunately. Like, you have so many players in this roster that have injury issues already. Ehlers still isn't cleared to actually play. Like, he's still practicing. He's in a normal practice jersey, but he's unlikely to play any preseason.
Right.
Like, Perfetti is an excellent addition to their team.
I like Cole Perfetti for sure.
I think he's definitely going to be a very welcome addition.
Mm-hmm.
I like Nino Niederreiter. I think he's getting a little bit old. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the thing that moves the needle in their top 6.
Right.
If I was in management, I would probably start moving Iafallo to the right and then
Sure.
just dump Nino down one.
Sure.
And just do a big shake around. Wingers are pretty flexible. I know that guys love to be glued to one side of the ice, but like it's just the other side. Grow up.
Yeah. Their D group does scare me a bit. Josh Morrissey, Dylan DeMello, Brandon Dillon, Neil Pionk, Nate Schmidt down on the bottom pairing. There's just nothing here that really feels solid. As much as Morrissey like had a good season, put up a lot of points last year.
He had a breakout year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's only a breakout if you keep it up, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Or it's an outlier.
Yeah.
Was it an outlier is the real question.
And even though he put up a lot of points, he didn't really make me feel like they're secure on the blue line.
No, it made me feel like if he wasn't scoring that day, then it was still going to be a battle to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do like Neil Pionk too. I think that Neil Pionk and Josh Morrissey, are like neck and neck as far as like quality. I think that Pionk's a lot safer.
Yeah, that's very fair. And I mean, you have Connor Hellebuck in net, right? And if he's on, that's a game breaker. But there's some question marks around there too. Is he staying? Is he going? Probably going because it's Winnipeg and no one stays. So
and he's tired of losing. And this
yeah.
team's still gonna lose for another 5 years. Like no goalie wants to be the face of a rebuild their whole life.
They're probably gonna lose forever. It's Winnipeg. I'm sorry. No one wants to live there. No one wants to play there. It's hard for them to keep players under reasonable contracts, and Minnesota is kind of the same way. It's freezing cold. I mean, Minnesota has great fans and stuff like that. But you look at those big contracts we were just talking about with Suter and Parise. You got to pay guys like that to get them to stay, and it's hard to contend when you have to do that.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard to get performances out of guys that are worth a while when they hate where they're living.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you going to show up to a home game with passion when you hate walking out of the house because there's 1.5 feet of snow every other day?
100%.
It sucks.
So I mean, we both have them outside the playoff picture. I have them at 5th in the Central. You got them at 4th.
I got them at 80 points. Very mediocre season.
Yeah.
I think that as much winger depth as they have, they don't have nearly enough to move anything substantial. I think that Ehlers is still hurt.
Yeah.
It'll probably take him a while to get up to speed.
Yeah.
Scheifele's getting old.
Yeah.
He's done nothing but digress for the last two seasons, 3 maybe now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the last time I remember Scheifele being like an absolute power force, like a wagon where I was like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Was probably pre-COVID.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think I've had him on my fantasy team as a keeper my whole life.
Yeah.
My whole fantasy career I've had him.
Right.
And this is the first year that I let him go.
Doesn't that hurt a little bit?
It's pretty weird.
I know.
And then I missed the draft, and I'm pretty sure that auto-drafted him back onto my roster anyways, so I just can't get rid of him.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Either way, let's move on to Nashville.
This is another interesting one.
Super interesting team. Like they took a big step back last year.
Oh, yeah.
Right at the end of the deadline, they sold off a bunch of pieces, and they ended up with basically like an AHL roster running almost into the playoffs.
Pretty impressive.
Like it was really impressive. And so I kind of wish they still committed to the rebuild, even though the team impressed them, but they didn't. They came out and they added. Boy, did they add. They brought in Ryan O'Reilly to be their 1C, which is a choice.
It's a choice.
Sure.
Yeah.
They gave a big ol' contract to Mr. Luke Shen. Shout out to Luke Shen. Get your paycheck, my boy. But not a paycheck I would have handed out. That's for sure.
Ditto.
I don't know. This team's kind of got a weird juice to it where I think they're going to be really competitive, even though they shouldn't be. And it's going to frustrate me.
I think that this team's going to be so good because of the defense. And
yeah,
I think that they're going to be surprisingly good for how old they are. I know I just on like old defensive cores for like the first all of this podcast already.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really like Ryan McDonough. He's always been really light on his feet. So like he's one of those defensive guys where as he gets older, I'm less concerned. He reminds me a lot more of Christ. He played in Vancouver forever, Swedish guy.
Edler.
Thank you,
Alex
Edler.
Edler.
Yeah, I don't know why I was missing that name.
No,
but
no.
like
He's not that notable.
But he's movable. Like he can get to the places. You have an absolute cannon in Tyson Barrie.
Yeah,
in the power play. Like
I think with McDonough and Schenn and Edler, like to run that comparison through, all three of those guys got to a point in their career where they got older and they lost their step, and they really, really changed their game. Right? Like Luke Schenn got a lot of comparisons to Edler last year in the Vancouver market, where, okay, this is a guy who's already had a long career, maybe not as a top end guy, but reformed his game around his changing and declining abilities, and it helped a ton. And McDonough did this exact same thing. As they've gotten older, they've like aged like freaking fine wine, dude.
Oh yeah, like they're still very useful pieces in a team, which is crazy when you think about like who they played with when they were useful in fantasy hockey or anything else. Like a lot of those guys don't even play anymore. A lot of those guys are getting PTOs.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Can you believe that Stastny was offered a PTO?
Just crazy,
by the way, that's nuts. Like that really shows you how much the league is moving towards youth.
Yeah.
Like it does 100%. Not matter. Like if you're going to be good in a few years, get in now.
Well, they say your statistical prime now is like, I can't remember what it was before, but it was like 26 to 30 or something, right?
Yeah. It was
now they say it's like
30.
Now they say it's like 23 to 26.
Like what?
Crazy.
That's insane.
Like McDavid might be exiting his statistical prime right now.
I'm already out of my prime.
Yeah. How's it feel?
Disastrous. Horrible. Gonna pinch myself.
Roman Josi.
I mean,
Juuse Saros, Schenn, McDonough, Barrie. This team is gonna be hard to score on.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like every year, I'm like, this is the year that Roman Josi ages. Right. This is the year that he takes that step back. Yeah. And it never happens.
No, I mean, well, he's not that old though. I think he's only what is he, 32 this year?
Yeah, but like he was playing at such a high level for so long, like, and so physically.
Yeah.
The fact he's still able to play that style without virtually changing his game at all.
It's impressive.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, that's very true.
It reminds me a lot of what we saw out of Giordano last year, except he does it consistently, whereas Giordano just did it for a 40-game stretch when he was really needed, which is like,
yeah. So, I mean, I have them safely in a playoff spot. I have them at 97 points. That should be above the barrier to make it in, and I got them there.
Yeah, I think that they're just going to play such a hard-nosed defensive game, a lot like Minnesota, and this conference is kind of lame in the first place.
It is.
Like, I think that it's going to be very obvious who is and isn't contending right away.
Right.
And Nashville's definitely going to be one of those guys that's able to just squeak out those points against division rivals and force a playoff picture. Are they going to make it past round one? No, not at all. But at that, they're going to play a very frustrating ass game.
Right.
And we're just going to not hear the end of that defensive core.
Yeah. 95 points you got him at wildcard one.
Yeah. Also, I'm really interested to see how Nyquist performs on the first line if they give him a shot there.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be an interesting one to watch. 100%.
I've always liked Nyquist's game, but I felt bad for him because he's played 3 years in Detroit and then 2 years in Columbus.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Like,
this is a guy who could easily be a 50 to 60 point scorer if he was given the tools, but was just never given them. And now he just seems like a certified third liner.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him get a shot. Just a chance.
Just a chance.
Give him like a 15, 20 game sampler.
Sure.
If it doesn't work, send him back down to the second, third, whatever you want to do. I don't care. But like, let's give this guy a chance.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's go out to the desert. Back out to the desert.
Let's go to a college arena. Back to Mullet.
We got the Arizona Coyotes. Let me preface everything I have to say about the Coyotes by saying that they should not exist and that Gary needs to let this failed child die.
Holy shit.
They shouldn't exist, even though the jerseys are gorgeous.
That's a bar.
Even though they have Logan Cooley. Shout out to Logan Cooley. He looks like he's going to be a stud.
Oh, God, yeah.
Clayton Keller, he is a stud. Bear Hayden, I like Hayden. I like Schmaltz.
I always felt bad for Clayton Keller.
I like their D group. Honestly, I like Troy Stetcher, Troy from Richmond. Shout out. I like Valimaki. I like Sean Dursey. I like Matt Dumba. I mean, not a ton, but I don't mind him. I don't know who JJ Moser is, but he sounds like an Arizona player.
Sounds like someone I wouldn't want on any other roster.
But overall, I don't mind that top four at all. And I think they're going to be better. They're still going to suck.
I don't think they're going to be much better. That pains me to say it because I have so many prospects in my fantasy pool that are on this godforsaken team. I think I have them at like 37 points this year. Like I was like, what's 20 wins? It's 40 points. I don't see this team getting 20 wins. They're going to be absolutely shelled.
Is that for you gave them 35 points?
35 points.
Oh my God. That's like, didn't Colorado, like right before they went on the up, I think they had 34 points one year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. That was like the year that Nathan McKinnon was going to like accept that he was ass and maybe like look at going to like school or something.
Right.
And then he blew up the year after.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy how time flies.
I think they're going to be better. I gave them 78 points. That's a bit of a reach, but I think they're going to be better, but still well out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, I think this is a team that like just dug their own grave more than they ever needed to.
Yeah.
I understand the value of Oh, absolutely. And I understand the value of holding cap for people.
Sure.
But the amount of useless, dead LTIR contracts that they've taken up.
Yeah.
And the damage that it's going to do long term because they've been just so focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Like, great, you have so many first round picks, but what did you put around them to teach them good habits?
Right.
Besides Clayton Keller, who, oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. He learned all bad habits from you jackasses too.
Yep.
He didn't have a good role model either.
Yep.
There's a reason this team's still stuck in the basement and it always will be, and it's because you never brought in anyone worth value to teach anyone worth value, a skill worth value.
Yeah.
So you just
totally.
You have lost toys following lost toys. Like sheep led by sheep are just sheep.
That's right. So yeah. You still don't deserve to exist, and I hope you get moved.
Bingo.
Sorry.
Couldn't say it better.
St. Louis.
I like St. Louis this year.
Yeah.
I really, really like them. This is probably the team that I'm most jacked up to watch that isn't mine.
Interesting. Really?
Oh, yeah. Like, I love Sammy Blaze.
Shout out.
It pained me to watch him suffer so much.
Right.
Because I really thought he had something when he first started with the Blues.
Yeah.
Watching him struggle in New York really sucked. But then that spark, as soon as he got back,
yeah,
it was like, wow, this guy might actually have something. If he can deliver that over a consistent 82 game schedule, like he very well could have turned his corner. He performs well in St. Louis. That's his home.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I mean, this team wasn't very good last year. And they lost Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko. Kevin Hayes is an adequate replacement for Ryan O'Reilly, but not really.
Yeah, but also I don't think Ryan O'Reilly's really that valuable anymore. He's getting super old.
No, like he's not, but he's still a valuable piece.
Yeah, he is.
He's your cup winning, Conn Smythe winning captain.
Yeah, I mean, I want to argue that just because of that loss that they aren't going to actually lose that much because they added so much more around it. Like it may not have been the exact same caliber, but then when you factor in as many pieces as you did, it looks really good. Like they have they have Jacob Vrana now. He wasn't with them last year.
Will he play a game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bro, Vrana has been the most non-contributor for years now.
That's not true. When he joined St. Louis last year, he went on a tear. He ended up boosting his value big time. I know because I have him in fantasy and I was pissed right off when he got dropped from Detroit.
You're gonna tell me that Jacob Vrana and Kevin Hayes are adequate replacements for Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko?
Not for Tarasenko, God no. But Ryan O'Reilly, where he's at now, like, that's one of those like Jumbo Joe type things where it's like, does the veteran presence really outweigh the lack of speed and the pain in the knees? And
But you can't say that and then say, like, do you think that he's a negative value asset? Like, do you think they're better off just without him entirely?
No, I would be insane to say that, but I think that he's very quickly losing the value that he has.
I agree with that, but then like if they replace him with Kevin Hayes, like that's the same thing, except Kevin Hayes is not as good as Ryan O'Reilly.
It is basically the same thing. You're not wrong, but I mean, like Kevin Hayes plays a different game than Ryan O'Reilly too,
that's
and
true.
he fits the roster and the game that they play so much better. Ryan O'Reilly is so stay-at-home safe, and they really need someone to spark up on this fourth line. I'm actually like, mark my words on this, I'm really excited to see Blaze, Vrana, and Hayes in a line together.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be one of those things that just works. I don't have an explanation for it, but ever since Vrana and Blaze have landed in St. Louis, they've looked electric. And if they're able to keep that up over another 82 spread, like for some people, they're really great players, but they just don't find their home. They don't find that place they gel.
Right.
For Vrana, that happened quite a few times. Now he's here, but he's doing better. And I mean, like,
no. I don't buy
Vrana's never been an issue of skill. Vrana is very strictly just an addiction issue.
Well, maybe.
Like
that seems to be an issue, a big issue. Yeah,
he's been in and out of player assistance for the better part of 2 years, and as soon as like he started taking a decline, he ended up in player assistance almost right after. So it's like it's hard to say the two things aren't linked. I think that if he can stay sober for a year, he'll perform the way that everyone said he should have years ago.
I hope the best for him. I really do, but I have a hard time banking on it.
That's fair. I'm really big on Jordan Kyrou. I'm also really big on Pavel Buchnevich. I think that's a stud of a player.
Yeah.
Absolutely slept on. I don't know what New York was thinking when they got rid of him, aside from like maybe they couldn't afford to keep him, which is fair.
Probably.
But like that guy is a high quality piece. He's arguably better than Marchment, and Marchment's going to be incredible on Dallas. He's going to be such an upside, like we talked about. Like it's hard to not put them in the same parable category. And then you add in all of the other value that you might see, might not see. Like this is a team that has a lot of lottery tickets.
Yeah.
But it's a team with lottery tickets I really like.
It's fair. Fair. I don't think they looked very good last year. Besides a little run at that little what's it called? Dead man's bounce.
Yep.
At the end. And I don't think they got better. So for me, that puts them out of a playoff spot. I think they have too much talent to be like really out of it. I have them just outside the wild card spot, 86 points. So actually considerably under the wild card spot. But that's where I got them. I also think, like I've been talking about, goaltending, you don't need a ton. You just need stability. And Jordan Binnington is the opposite of that.
Yeah, that is the big blemish on this team, realistically, is like, I don't know if they're going to be able to be as strong defensively as they need to be.
Yeah.
I think that actually the perfect way to summate what I'm saying earlier is that this team's going to be so deadly explosive with their forward group, and it's going to be like unseen. No one's going to be prepared for it.
Right.
But it still won't matter because you're going to have so much of a mental shakedown in the back end every second game that it won't matter.
That's fair.
I have them, I think, in wild card 2. Our chart's kind of messed up.
No, you got them outside. You got them at I had that wrong there. You have them at 5th.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, 84 points. So we have them around the same spot, even though we kind of have different valuations about them. Kind of the same amount of points. I can see that.
Yeah, I think they're gonna not make the playoffs, but I think it's just a team that's like going to take such a significant step in the other direction from where they went the year before.
Yeah.
That we're going to have no choice but to be like, wow. Like that's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
It's like when Seattle was like wild card 2.
Right.
It's not really that impressive to be wild card 2, but because it was Seattle.
Because of the team it was. Right.
And the year prior, it's like, oh, Wow. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the last one of this episode.
Hell yeah. All right.
Waiting for the kid.
Man,
Chicago, the Windy City.
I was listening to Frege today, and they were saying that the Blackhawks already sent, because, you know, they do like player media day and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a game for them yet, and they sent him to media day to represent the Hawks.
I mean, yeah, he's
get money.
One of the single most important assets this franchise has had in forever.
Hands down.
I mean,
I'm already going to say it. He's probably like way bigger than Kane ever was when he landed. Or Taves.
Yeah, I mean, it just it depends on how it goes for the next little bit, right? I mean, if you're a Chicago fan, obviously you look at what happened with those two last time. You go, oh, they were on friggin' ELCs and dominating and winning cups, right? And I mean, is that going to happen here? I'm going to say no.
No, but
because this team is still pretty awful.
Bingo.
Actually, I was going to say but there's no but. This team's still awful.
This team is awful. They have Jason Dickinson, and Jason Dickinson's been bounced around from every team like a basketball.
I mean, Lucas Reichel, sure. I like watching Lucas Reichel. Don't get me wrong. Taylor Hall, okay, sure. At this point in his career, yeah. I mean, it's better than putting Nick Foligno with Bedard, but that's not going to change the projection of your season.
Let me just tell you.
Tell me,
Ryan Donato.
Yeah.
Breakout year ahead.
Okay, get out of here.
He's gonna shatter all of his expectations.
No.
I mean, how can you not? You're playing next to Hall and Bedard. That's probably the best opportunity this guy's ever seen.
Yeah, that absolutely is. Zaitsev, I hate watching him. I don't mind Connor Murphy. Seth Jones, I actually don't mind Seth Jones either. I think that he gets a lot of hate because he's paid way too much. But I actually think he's an adequate top 4 defenseman. But your $10 million guy being an adequate top 4 defenseman means you probably suck.
Yeah, and I mean, Seth Jones just hasn't been the Seth Jones ever since the injury. Like, it's just, you know, an unfortunate reality of a lot of defensemen is they get big money and then they get hurt because they play the tough minutes.
Right.
They play the minutes that earn them the money, and then eventually they can't because they got hurt doing it.
Totally.
And yeah, he's a useful and very teachable player, like, or a very equipped player to teach, I should say.
Right.
But I don't know if that's going to offset everything.
Totally fair.
I think that it's still an incredibly shaky group. I have nothing good to say about the goaltending.
Dude, we were talking, again, with goalies. Are they disposable? I think so. However, running Mrazek and Soderblom is an awful idea.
Yeah, like goalies are disposable, but are they useless? No. Like,
which, by the way, hey, my goalies out there, I mean no offense when I say that you're disposable. I am a goalie, and when I say it, it makes me want to cry. But it's just the trend I see in the NHL right now.
Halfback's my favorite position, and they're totally useless in the NFL right now. So it's just the way games evolve. Don't take it personally. I'm sure in another 10 years you'll be the most important player again.
Sure, exactly. I mean, yeah, putting Nick Foligno, Jason Dickinson, and Corey Perry on a line together is like, what are we doing here?
That's tough. Just giving Corey Perry a roster spot is tough. If it wasn't the Hawks, I would be mortified and shocked, but like, it is what it is. To be fair, I watched this team last night.
Yeah.
They played the Wild.
Yep.
Pretty good game.
It was a good game.
It was the most entertained I've been for most of preseason.
For a preseason game, yeah.
That one
was good. The Colorado Vegas last night was good too.
I missed that one.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Okay, hell yeah.
I mean, you got him at 79 points, last in the division. I got him a lot worse than that. I got him at 65 points. Not dead last, but pretty close, which they should want. Keep stocking up those high picks. Just because you got Bedard doesn't mean the job's done. Anyways,
no,
doesn't matter. Are you a Chicago fan? Are you a Chicago hater? Are you a Canadian? Are you an American? It doesn't matter. You should probably be watching this team just to watch Connor Bedard.
Yep.
But that's about all you're watching for.
Oh, 100%. And like this team's going to be absolutely god awful. I probably did them a little bit more of a service than I should, giving them 79 points. But I just really wanted to drive home how absolute bum cheeks Arizona is. Like 35 points.
I love it.
Chicago is going to be interesting to watch regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the style of hockey they're playing right now. It's very
Sure.
different than the style of hockey they played when they had the Taves and Kane era.
Yeah.
It's actually really entertaining, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
able to square off and control a lot of the zones.
Right.
Like they're basically cutting the ice in half immediately
Yeah.
and then playing from there, which
Yeah.
is a pretty interesting style to play when you have so many inexperienced players.
For sure.
But if you can get them gelled into it really quickly and make that your locker room mantra, then you're going to have a great time moving forward.
So I guess that's it for the Central.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it for the West, is it
That's
not?
it for the West. That's it for the first half of this 2-part episode.
Whew.
Whew, that was good.
That was a long one. I'm almost sick of hearing myself talk.
Yep, make sure you guys stay tuned. We got the East coming out as well. That's gonna be really fun to do. Gonna talk about the Devils, of course.
Yeah, we are.
And
I'm waiting.
Before we get going here, I just want to give a quick shout out to our producer Austin. He's Austin.
Boy.
That's the boy. He was with us for all of last year. We really appreciate all the work that he did. He's leaving the show as of this week, so make sure you guys leave a goodbye, Austin, on the Instagram page or on the TikTok or whatever it is, because we really appreciated all of his work.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin's a big Habs fan, so drop a little leaf emoji or some shit over
Yeah,
there
there
to
you
really
go.
bother him.
And we're gonna have producer Jay in from now on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to
Producer
Big
Jay.
Jay. We're excited for that.
Yeah, he's going to be in here. He's got some real great opinions. He's probably like the most accurate person to predict game scores ever. So
I'll be completely honest. There is nobody who I trust more than Big J. For real, when it comes to like score predictions, whether it's hockey, football, NBA, it doesn't matter. This guy is absolute money.
6 cents.
Yeah.
He's just tapped in. We might have like
6 cents.
an editor's picks type segment or something, you know?
Yeah, we'll get him involved for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. But yeah, thank you, Austin, for all your time. The car rides out here to get to the studio are going to be a whole lot more lonely now. So, thanks for that. It was great to have you around. It was great to shoot the shit with you every week and
For sure.
chat about hockey and collaborate on something that means so much to all of us. And thank you to everyone who's been a part of this journey so far. Everyone who was able to see our first season with Austin.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for having us in your hearts, your homes, your travels, your gym, whatever the hell you listen to us at.
Wherever it is.
Thank you.
That's all for us. Keep your head up.
Keep your head up. Boom.
Stick talk. Stick talk.